Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Intercompass Podcast here with my good friend Scott Kidd. I got to tell you, I am so excited. I'm full of excitement. Here's the reason why. Not too long ago, it doesn't seem like it was not too long ago. This was just an idea to do the Intercompass Podcast and just record a few episodes. And now today we sit here at episode number 20. That's right, number 20. So if you're listening to episode 5, 7, somewhere in there, there's at least 15 to 13 more episodes coming to you. And we are so excited today because we're going to talk about two things that are very, very important in our lives, and that's healthy mindset habits. And we're going to go through 10 physical habits for health. So Scott, how are you today, man? Are you healthy?
Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm here, here in Orlando for this Money Show conference here, which is interesting enough that this podcast was an idea at a conference that you and I were there. We're like, hey, let's do that, and we just said, yeah, let's do it. And then next, a couple of weeks later, we were doing some, and now we're at 20, and that's it just goes to show you. You never know where the road's going to take you once you start doing it.
You really don't. And that's the thing I think that really makes it fun and special for me is we've just let this organically just go. It's not like we've had the force to get that we're going to record 20 episodes.
Yeah.
We just turn on the record button, and sometimes we just let it flow. And let's be honest, I think it was by episode 17 or 18. That's exactly what it was. We were kind of like, what do you got on your heart today? What do I got on mine? And then we're just like, you know what? Let's just turn the mic on. I don't know. We'll have to listen to the audience. That might be one of the best episodes we recorded.
I think so, just because as we turned around, it was time, and, we could have kept going, much like the first two podcasts we did together, mine and yours. We were both like, man, I got to call, jump on. Because we just kept going with all those things. I know it does me a lot of good things, and just with everything going on, it makes it a lot easier because it kind of uplifts me and gives me a lot of energy. I was like, I just got off the boat on Wednesday, and then I came directly to this conference here to Orlando on Thursday, yesterday, and I'm here. I noticed today, like this morning, I was kind of dragging when I was talking to people and stuff like that. But then it's like, oh, I got the podcast. So now I'm getting the energy back. My head's moving. I'm the wheels are spinning. So I'm, it's just a testament to what, the energy you get when you talk to certain people and just being around the right element and using these habits,
You've shared with me before that you like booking these on Friday because it kind of sets the tone for the weekend. I do totally agree because it really leaves me in a different place, spending time with you, doing this together, because it really does feel like that we are go-givers. And it really does. It really puts it in perspective for me that I continue to do things without an ending in mind, that I just give and I just give and I give. And this is a great platform for us to do that. And I will be honest, like there is sometimes that when we're raising capital and we're doing things, we're hearing a lot of no's and we're hearing a lot of maybes, and we're hearing people come in and commit and then go back out. That can be kind of, bring the energy way down. It can really suck the energy down because you're doing a lot of phone calls, a lot of work, a lot of emails, and you're not exactly getting a measurable result. And sometimes that can drag you down. So I want to get into the morning movement. And I got to be honest here. Morning is my love. I love morning. I love being up early before the world wakes up. And I love the movement part because I prefer to be outside when the sun comes up. I don't know. I've got it programmed in this brain that first light is that most important for you to suck that in. Just soak it up. And, at that time, I also like to get a good solid workout before the sun comes up or somewhere in that time frame, because that really is that dopamine hit. And I want to say that, we're not talking about physical, healthy things you can do, but this is to help create a healthy mindset, like healthy
Hmm.
habits. And I'll say a lot of people, they're like, well, I need to work out for 30 minutes and I need to walk for 30 minutes. Well, you're inundating yourself with a bunch of tasks at
Hmm.
that point. And for me, like, hey, I'm up early. I'm going to go walk outside for 5 minutes. I'm going to just take in the fresh air.
Hmm.
And then I'm going to go to the gym. And I'm very intentional with that. But I think when you do it long enough, it doesn't feel like a task anymore. It is literally, it became a habit for me.
Hmm. Yeah, it really does, and because I've done physical activities, sports and gym and stuff like that, and just all kind of different activities. Most of my life, majority of my since I was young, really young, and it's like that morning routine. If I don't do it, I feel like I might not notice, but I'll realize middle of the day like something something's not quite up. I didn't do my routine, or I didn't exercise in the morning, and I have like played with the morning routine and the morning movement and stuff a little bit. Like I do sometimes I'll just do the breath work and then I'll do some stretching, and then I'll kind of go into my other stuff, read a little bit, and then write for a little bit, and just so that gets the brain going. I call it like a quick quick shock, or a quick like because I got to be somewhere in like 45 minutes, so I'll do like a 20-30 minutes, read a few pages, this kind of thing, and do some stretches and stuff, and you'd be surprised at how quickly that gets you going, and especially for me, immediately doing that conscious breath work, like where if I consciously, it's proven that if you breathe through your nose the majority of the time, it will extend your life. It will also lower your heart rate, lower your blood pressure, and it keeps your mind in that state of calm, that, and it's proven also that you can make better and more effective, clear decisions when you're in a calm state and you're a
Yeah.
happy state,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. I totally agree that, the breath work is good. Expanding of the lungs, just
Hmm.
taking in deep breaths and holding it and getting more oxygen into your bloodstream. That for me is very important. Another thing that I feel that all of us probably are fault of not getting enough is hydration.
Yeah.
You should drink a gallon a day. And, this bottle of water, I try to make sure I drink 5 or 6 of them a day. But there's definitely times, like when I'm
Yeah.
pretty busy, that, man, I'm kind of parched. I've only drank 2 bottles of water today. And that's a problem. I mean, I feel like the body needs water.
Yeah. Water is one of the few things that your body can't go without. I mean, you can go without eating for an extended period of time, but 2-3 days without water, you're done. I mean, I know part of my morning routine is that before I put anything in my body, as far as nutrition and stuff, I drink 3 to 4 glasses of water, just and you'd be surprised, even if I love drinking coffee. So, and I've kind of limited my intake with that too, because I like the taste of it. I could drink multiple cups of coffee or what have you, but I drink the 3 or 4 glasses of water, and you'd be surprised how quickly your body wakes up when you have that. And it's one of those things where if you don't have the right amount of oxygen, you don't have the right amount of water, you're at a disadvantage.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, I totally agree. I think that when you start out, and now for me personally, I like to start with lemon water. So I like to put
That's good.
a half a lemon or one lemon in my bottle of water, and that's how I start my day. And that really does seem to help reduce the inflammation and make me feel a lot better. So if anybody hasn't tried that yet, try the lemon in the water. That's really good. And then, of course, you might want to follow up with another water to get the lemon taste out of your mouth.
Yeah,
But I prefer, honestly, the lemon taste. I like it. Another one that I've played with, and I haven't really, I know you have too, because I've seen your videos and I've seen your posts, is the
yeah,
cold exposure.
yeah,
Now, my wife did buy me a very nice cold tub, or a
yeah.
inflatable cold chiller that I could get in, and I'm going to be honest, it's still in my closet. I haven't opened it up yet. I need to. But I have done cold showers and, swim in cold water. And that really is
Yeah.
revitalizing. I'm going to be honest. I used to be a very competitive power lifter,
Yeah.
and I would decide to go and do my workouts in the morning. My first workout was in the morning. So what I would do is I would actually get up and I would put about 3 or 4 inches of water in the bottom of the tub, cold water, and I would jump in it with just up to the ankles and then slowly get in and basically shock my nervous system.
Hmm.
Because two things were happening. I could be completely wrong. Anybody that's on this listening, you can challenge me in the comments, but I've always been told that when you shock the body, the nervous system with cold water, some of your organs actually turn on, like the liver starts producing protein.
Hmm.
So it's like the most natural form of protein that your body will start producing. And I know also it's a way to heal, like the cold exposure can heal injuries. It can also shrink, some of the inflammation and fats in your body. What is it? The brown fats and the yellow fats, I believe, or something like that. So the cold exposure for me is really good. Even if it's a cold shower,
Hmm.
really does feel like, even when I'm tired, like it's that shot in the arm of
Yeah,
adrenaline.
it really is. I mean, I do that, and I haven't done it in a while. I did it. We do have a cold ice bath on the boat that we use. We haven't
Mm.
used it much recently, but I used to do. I also do a lot of powerlifting and bodybuilding training like that, and I used to do because I read and studied a lot of the bodybuilders, powerlifters, and a lot of them did the 30 seconds hot, 30 seconds cold, 30 seconds hot, 30 seconds cold, and I did that a lot. And every morning I take a cold shower, but I'm in Florida, so the cold shower is
Not very
75
cold.
degrees. It's not cold at all. It's cold by Florida standards, but when I'm up north in New England or somewhere else like that, the water temperature on the boat is the same as the water because the tank's underwater. So you're probably getting, sometimes 55, 60 degrees, which is, I think they say 55 is optimal, which takes a little getting used to. But if you do the breath work right before, you can do it. It's not difficult, but it will wake you up and you will feel like very refreshing. And you will feel like, you're energized,
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I would totally agree, man. It's great to be able to just feel revitalized. I mean,
Hmm.
completely feel revitalized is just so good to have that, because I know for me, sometimes you're groggy when you get up in the morning. And
Hmm.
sometimes before anything else, I'm like, okay, cold shower. Just boom,
Yeah.
right out of the way. I'm awake. I'm good. I'm ready to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
All systems are on. And I will say, when I used to do that, it was literally like a machine turning on. When
Hmm.
that cold water would hit, you'd feel from the ankles to the top of your head, like the nerve endings turning on, and you just felt great.
Yeah.
And that was just good, like really good.
Yeah. And it's there's nothing like it. And I highly recommend it. Don't just jump in the cold water. Make sure you're in decent shape before you jump in the
Yeah.
water and stuff like
Yeah.
that, because you can if the water's too cold, you can go into shock, and there can be hypothermic conditions. So
Yeah. You
I'm
definitely
not a
don't
doctor.
ever,
Yeah,
you never
I'm
want
not
to
a
jump
doctor.
in a cold pond or a
No.
cold. No, I mean, because if it's too deep and you just go in the shock, man, you could drown. Like, so
Yeah,
full
you have.
preface here.
Yeah, yeah, because there was one time we are delivering a boat from Manitowoc, Wisconsin to Fort Pierce, Florida, and it was November, December, and we're going through the St. Lawrence Seaway. We had a pilot on board because we're technically a commercial vessel at that point, and the pilot told us the story of because we were following an icebreaker going out and stuff, and they were doing stuff like that. He said January, one of their pilots fell in the water, and they got him out within 5 minutes, and it took him 6 months to feel his hands again.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, full use of his hands, and so yeah, just be careful with the cold water. Don't like Eddie was saying, if you jump in to a cold body of water, you can go into shock really quick. You have to be, make sure you got people around and people that can fish you out.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So, this next one here, mindful nutrition.
Hmm.
Now, I'm big on this one because the gut is a second brain. It's the
Definitely.
microbiomes, in your gut. They have a ton of nerve endings. And I really do, not to go extremely deep on the subject, but the gut is the second brain. And when you do feed it with junk food, you get junk output, in my complete opinion. I know for me, another thing is I cannot stand it when I eat unhealthy
Hmm.
and eventually my sinuses start running, like I'm
Yeah.
clearing my throat, doing all that stuff. I know I ate something that didn't agree with me. Like there was some type of
Yeah.
an allergy, there was some kind of a something. And then let's be honest, I also don't like eating something that I feel heavy after I
Hmm.
eat. Like I don't feel like as humans we should have to eat and then be low on energy. Like
Hmm.
there shouldn't be a negative effect to eating. And I know, like my wife, she's battled a lot of stomach issues to where she would deal with bloat. She
Hmm.
would deal with a lot of stomach cramps and pains and different things. And, sometimes we'd be headed out on a little adventure, a little dinner date or something like that. And, we had several things planned after we ate. And then after we ate, like it just, I'm not feeling very well.
Yeah.
And I've done the same thing. And it's not fun, man. It's,
No, it's not. Over the years, I've kind of watched what I eat, and I've learned more and more, because our bodies change over time as well. And I know for a fact that nutrition has a big effect because I've seen the effect on my daughter having some chronic pain and going to a holistic doctor that planned out her whole diet and all these different treatments and stuff. And it took about 2 years to reset her biome and stuff like that, and changed her life, changed our lives because she was in a lot of chronic pain. And long story short, that she, all the things she was eating, which was what we thought were healthy, what they say are healthy foods, she took an allergy test, and she was, out of 90 foods, she was allergic to about 80 of them or had a sensitivity to them. So if you have those kind of issues, and a doctor that's into those things, because this particular doctor where we are, his thing is brain, gut, and spine, because they're all related, and those things are very related. Your gut does affect everything in your body, information and everything else. So we know it works. Just a lot of times it's like a lot of other things, depending on how extreme your cases are. It can take a long time to reset all that, especially with the American diet is really not the best.
no, it's not. I mean, it's not. I mean, even the quality of the foods that
Yes,
you have access to, they may be healthy foods. Like they may be on the healthy food list, but how they were either
process.
grown, processed, or created, wherever that falls, may not be the best. Like it
No.
really could not be the best. And that's the thing is, I feel that foods that we should eat foods that fuel energy, not drain us.
Yeah.
And it should be able, this is something my wife's doing right now, is it should stable blood sugar. Be a
Yes.
staple for blood sugar. It should be something that keeps you balanced, not spikes the blood sugar. Stable emotions, also.
Yeah.
So if blood sugar stays pretty well stapled down, the mood kind of stays in a good, healthy place. And
Hmm.
then, focus on whole foods, lean proteins, greens, omega 3, and also some feed the body and your brains.
Hmm.
Brain foods, like mushrooms and stuff like that, are extremely important because what happens? What's firing the entire engine below? It's the
Hmm.
brain, right? So foods that feed the brain are super important.
Yeah, and you have to just take an assessment of yourself and see what works for you. And like a lot of times, I know I know I can't have dairy or drink milk, cow's milk, and stuff like that. So I just don't drink it. And over the years, I've kind of weaned myself away from any kind of cheese, because I do notice that does cause some. The next day, I'm pretty clogged up, and a lot of like wheat type products as well. So there's things you can do and can't do, but kind of wean myself away from those things because I know it has an effect. So it's better just to, for me, just to avoid them, but, and our next one is, which I really like this one. I know you do too, is he's grounding our nature time. Cause as much as I can, I get outside and just take that walk. I walk to the gym when I'm at home or when I'm on the boat. I get off if we're not at anchor, I go and sit outside or walk around outside. And, a lot of times when I'm in my yard, I'm walking around barefoot because they call it grounding because our body is a huge electrical battery. And just like everything else, there's some type of charge. And, if you ground yourself, it will get rid of a lot of the inflammation. That energy needs to go some way to complete that circuit. And, and it's just nice to actually be outside. Like you said, you hear the world wake up. And there's something about that ignites something inside of me. And I know everyone else feels that. Like, hear the birds start going, the animals rustling around, maybe some little rabbits or something else. And we do have bobcats. I should probably be a little more conscious of that.
They're just a big house cat.
Yeah, yeah.
You just probably pet them; they'll purr. Yeah, no, I do
Florida
agree.
man attacked
Yeah,
by a bobcat.
yeah. Or a Florida man walking a bobcat.
Walking a bobcat.
Yeah, yeah. Holding it at not against its or against its will, petting it. Yeah, I feel the grounding time in nature is super important. Getting rid of the digital noise and reconnecting with nature to really find peace and gratitude and being present. That's really what it's all about. The other thing is intentional stillness.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes say people that really know me very well and in the culture of my company that I run, some of people's outside conception of me is, Eddie sometimes doesn't do a whole lot. He's kind of maybe lazy when there's a lot of noise, when there's a lot of things that we need his action on. There's sometimes that Eddie just, I'm gonna go take time. And I think as they worked with me more, they realized the power of shutting off all the signals, all the
Mm-hmm.
noise, and taking 5 to 10 minutes to step out and ask yourself the question. Like, this is also a question that's on our previous podcast. It's all over online right now. Does this serve me?
Mm-hmm.
That's a question. And I think these questions do come when you take time for either one meditation or reflection, to
Mm-hmm.
take that moment and go, I'm shutting off all the noise and I'm just going to sit here for 5 and 10 minutes and I'm just going to go, I'm going to improve my self awareness. I'm going to lean into my strengths, my emotion, and my regulation system here. And I'm just going to sit in stillness and understanding that there's strength in this. And I know for a fact that it works. And you could ask my team, they're like, we don't know what he does when he walks away, but when he comes back.
Yeah, it's funny because you and I have that in common because people, from the appearance on the outside, like when there's problems or especially on the boat or in business or whatever, a lot of times they'll be like, where is Scott? What's he, and they're like, well, we need him or what, and they'll call me on the radio or whatever. And I won't answer or I'll answer. I'll give me a minute. And, whether I sit in my room or I'll go find a quiet spot somewhere. Sometimes you need to shut off you need to stop overthinking it and just shut off. And the answer will come right there.
It will.
Or maybe there's no answer. Maybe there's no answer at all, but you need to accept it. And, because as the captain of the boat, as the captain of the business, you got to make that call one way or the other. So if you check out and just do that for a minute, you'd be surprised at how quickly you get resolved.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Totally agree, man. I think it's a really important thing to do. Me personally, in the middle of the day, I'm guilty of, and even in the afternoon, I like to sometimes, we've got nature trails up here, and we also have parks that have, paved walking paths, and they've got, you know, places to sit in the woods or in front of a lake. And there's times that when there is a very important decision to make in the company, that I am guilty of stepping out of the office and taking 15, 20 minutes to go on a nature walk. And I'll sit down and stretch my arms out on the park bench and just look up at the sky and listen to the birds and watch the fish jump or whatever and go, we shouldn't even be doing what we're doing right now. Like, if you have the ability right now, here's what I want you to do. I see Scott doing it already. When you get in this posture, like when you get outside or when you're just in your chair, just stretch your arms out all the way and fold the shoulders back and spread your arms out wide. You will feel a really, really good feeling. Like it's a sense of newness.
Yeah, you get really relaxed.
And it just relaxes you. And I've sometimes I do that. I spread my arms out and I sit back on a park bench and go, we shouldn't even be doing what we're doing right now. What we're about to accomplish does not speak to what we're doing. It's not in our purpose. It doesn't serve us. The reason this has been so hard is because we're not even supposed to be here. And go back and I tell the team and we're like, respectfully, email all those people back, tell them that we're not investing in that company. That's not something we're going to be a part of. We appreciate it. And I've even had people call me back or message me back and say, thinking more, the best decision that ever happened was you to say no to us because a much bigger opportunity fell in our lap as soon as we let go of that engagement. Boom. I made the right decision. That's it. And that's what it took, was just taking that time.
Yeah. And that tip of just stretching out your arms and standing. I actually did that this morning at the conference after I was having my coffee. I put my coffee down and sat outside in the sun. As I turned around, all these people were looking at me going, wonder what that guy's doing.
Oh, well.
Yeah, but it didn't, the thing that I've always had a knack for is not really caring too much about what other people think.
So. No, I don't. I'm guilty of that. Honestly, it's kind of funny. Somebody that does know me pretty well, if I do something that just astounds them and I can see their look of astoundment on their face, I'll literally reach out my hand and shake their hand and say, hi, my name's Eddie Austin, and I do what I want.
Yeah, I gotta say that because like my kids, sometimes I remember they'd be, that look, but then they'd be like, "Oh, that's." Then after a while, I was just like, they just walk by.
Oh my kids, man. There's been times they're like, Dad, I'll stick my hand out and say, hi, my name's Eddie Austin, and I do what I want. And they're like, we know, Dad, we know. I'll do it to my wife. It's fun. Yeah. It's comical. Yeah, one thing that is, been very hard for me, and I know because of our conversations, it's also been hard for you, is sleep.
Yes.
I'm guilty of saying I don't sleep because I'm tired. I sleep because I'm done.
Yeah.
I've also been guilty of staying up 2 or 3 days to get a project done or something that was very important to me because I just couldn't sleep because I was so wound up, so passionate about something I'm doing that I'd literally stay up for 2 or 3 days. And no, I'm not a drug addict. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not crashing the Monster Energy drinks with 6 of them on my desk. That's not me. What I'm saying is there's physically times that I just don't get tired. I just don't. And to be honest, sleep has been a constant practice for me because now that I'm 42 years of age, I have noticed that I function much better on more than 4 to 6 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Which I don't like, by the way, because I don't like sleeping. I don't.
Yeah. I don't mind the sleeping. I just wish I was better at it. And it bugs me that I'm not good at it.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm saying that wrong. No, I put that out there wrong. It's just I will practice more. I am practicing more at
there you go.
I am a better sleeper because I have made a conscious effort in the last couple of years to say like it's X time to go to sleep. And then usually an hour before that, I don't get into any projects and I just put everything away. And I've gotten better at calendaring and scheduling my time so that, come 4 or 5 o'clock, at that point I'm spent anyway. So I'm kind of spinning my wheels because I've been up for 12 hours or whatever and doing all. So I should be kind of focusing on the family time and all that stuff and putting my phone away. and if I get into something, I've, 6, 7 o'clock after dinner, I start doing something, unless there's some ridiculous timeline or something like that. I usually just tell myself, nope, put that down, you know, go grab a book, or maybe go sit and watch a show with my wife or something like that. Or, just sit and have time with them and stuff like that, rather than doing that. And I've gotten better at that. When I go to bed, it's not necessarily that I sleep, because sometimes I'm just sitting there waiting to go to sleep, telling myself it's time to go to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will sleep now. And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I've never been good at taking orders, especially from myself.
Right. You're kind of disgruntled. You're definitely disgruntled.
Yeah, this guy's telling me what to do.
Yeah, yeah, I don't like it. Yeah, of course. I honestly, I will also say, back to the healthy eating stuff, there's also times that you eat. So I've also realized, throughout
Yeah,
getting to know my body much better, that you do sleep much better and you don't toss and turn if your body is not trying to digest a large meal an
yeah,
hour or two before you went to bed. So, like, for me
so
personally,
true.
I don't like to eat past 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm,
And I usually do my best to get to bed by 9:30,
mm-hmm.
10 at the latest, because I've noticed if I give myself that 2.5 to 3 hour window. And I also like to take a walk after I eat, or move around. Like, I don't like to,
That's
like,
good.
eat and then sit on the couch and watch TV.
Mm-hmm.
That's not me. I've been guilty of that, but I've noticed that those are the times I have a lot of problems going to sleep and staying asleep. So that's one of the things. The other thing I will admit is, when it comes to sleep, there's a thing called circadian rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do wake up by an alarm, or if you wake up by yourself, you could be messing up your circadian rhythm. And here's how. I learned this because I wanted to become an optimal performer. And everything that I do, I wanted to become one of the greatest that my body has ever had the chance to do. So I studied a lot of this stuff. And circadian rhythm is something that I found out and noticed that it's a true statement. If you wake up, even if it's 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're just wide awake, like you're just, I'm up, I'm good. If you stay up during that time, you're good. I've noticed that when I force myself, man, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, I force myself to go back to sleep.
Yeah,
And
you're out.
then I didn't feel as good. And then here's the next thing that happened. I did have an alarm set for a time that I needed to get out of bed. When I hit the snooze button, when that happened, I felt terrible all day long. And
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't until the next day that I would reset this, and I started reading about it. I started checking on some things, and I did find that I was messing up my circadian rhythm, because my rhythm at that point was disrupted. My body
Mm-hmm.
said it was time to be awake. I made myself go back to sleep. And then when I was supposed to wake up, I was just hitting snooze, and I just fell into this trap. And I'm going to be honest also, there is times that I've woke up at 1:30 in the morning, wide awake, and I get up, and about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm a little bit groggy. I'm a little
Mm-hmm.
tired, but I can also fight through it, or I can choose to take a 15-minute power nap,
Mm-hmm.
and boom, I'm ready to rock and roll again. Now, I will also admit that I have been guilty of making a 2 or 3 hour nap out of that, because there's several nights of sleep that didn't go very well.
Yeah,
And now I can't sleep at night again. I've screwed everything up. So please let
yeah,
me know in the comments below if that's happened to you.
yeah. No, I know. I've done that, and the 15-minute meditation or nap or something in the middle of the day, especially when the circadian rhythm gets knocked off. And that, to mention, with the nature walks, it's kind of all tied together with the sleep. Is the first thing in the morning. As soon as you get up, the sooner that you can get sunlight into your eyes and stuff, that resets your clock. It puts that I forget which chemical in your brain, kind of endorphins, or I'm not really sure, but that'll put your body clock on to where you'll be on. And then when it starts to get dark, your body will release the next chemical, and you'll start to get tired. So you'll have that kind of natural rhythm back and everything. And my wife and kids got me this Apple Watch thing. I haven't worn a watch for 40 years or what have you. But they said, well, you can track your sleep and you're on the boat. You can check the tides and all. I was like, okay, well, that's cool. And because they got it for me, I wear it and everything. But I started tracking my sleep, and I found out that I sleep a lot less than I thought I did.
Yeah, I remember you making a video on that.
Yeah, it was it was I was like 4 hours. That's probably not good. And the chef on the boat at the time, he goes, well, 4 hours a night, that's a quick way to the grave. Way to go.
Yeah. Appreciate the advice.
Yeah,
Strong
thanks
feedback.
buddy. Thanks,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah. You know, I want to switch 9 and 10, and I think there's a good reason for it, because I know for a fact there's some habits that a lot of us fell into, and they do relate to sleep, to be honest. So one thing is 9 is around, breath, posturing, and alignment, stuff like that. I think that's a good finisher. But I think the next one is digital detox. I'm going to say that again, digital detox. If you're listening to this, digital detox. And I want to say, set screen time boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to tell you.
Works.
It works. I think that when we watch TV, YouTube, I'm sorry if I'm going to hurt my algorithm, but if you're watching YouTube right before bed, your brain is thinking. If you got a brain like mine, you think about conversations that's happened all day long. And when you lay down and it gets quiet, your brain starts to think about the things and start to recite conversations, recite what you've seen. And I can't shut my brain off at that point. Mm-hmm. It means that I'm laying there like Scott going, I hope I go to sleep. Yeah. I hope I'm going to go to sleep soon. And that because you can't shut off the brain. So I want to give you some tactical stuff here. And I learned this from Ed Milet. Ed Milet, number one, has figured out that people sleep the best when the room is cooler. So he personally will set his thermostat lower before he goes to bed, so it's cooler in the room. That personally for me works very well. I don't like to be cold when I wake up, so I like my room to be a little warmer when I wake up. But going to sleep seems to help. But the digital detox.
Yeah.
Here's what I've learned. And this also comes from Ed Milet. When you do give yourself time between the time that you go to bed, like shutting off all your devices, giving yourself time, I found that when I can't shut off the brain before I go to bed, I pick up a notepad or my phone and put up the notes, like the journaling, and I will journal or I will write. Mm-hmm. And if it's something that's on my mind, like I'm thinking about things I need to do tomorrow, I make a to-do list. And immediately it's like, I don't have to think about that no more. And I will also say that reading of the Bible also has gave me a great deal of clarity and just gave me calming to be able to do that at night as well. So my actual app, has a dark black background. So it's very easy to read through and be able to calm myself down by just reading. So reading a book can be helpful. But I want to say, by setting screen boundaries, I cannot tell you how many people I've met that have trouble sleeping. And I ask them the question, what's your habit when you're laying in bed? A lot of people do this. They scroll consistently with their phone right here, watching video after video after video. Dude, your brain is like bouncing off your skull with activity. Yeah. Like your eyeballs are darting around watching all the different colors and the things that's on the screen. And believe me, I know these things are true, because to keep you guys listening to this, I have to move my hands and we got to switch the screen every 8 seconds to keep you guys from scrolling past our videos. So don't tell me that there's not a bunch of things going on in your brain right now when you're trying to go to sleep. That's truth and honesty. I'm just trying to be open and transparent here. But I know lots of people that struggle with sleep. And I asked them, what would happen if you put your phone down? Before you went to bed, and actually when you were in bed, you just never picked it up other than setting an alarm. Like you just went to bed and didn't pick up your phone and you didn't scroll. Just, I don't know, hear me out. What would happen? Well, I know it worked for me. It worked for other people. I've got them to do it.
Yeah, it definitely The digital detox is a real thing. I mean, but I like what you said. A lot of those things, journaling. I've had a coach one time. He called it like a brain dump, where you, at the end of the day, all that stuff that's in your head, just write it all down, and it just kind of gets it all out there. And it's the same thing like you've talked about before with the journaling early in the morning. Like if you get up and you're on fire, just let it all come out. There was a guy, David Bayer, that talks about that. And, and, you know, getting to the next one, the breath alignment I've done that has helped me as well is do like the box breathing, which is 4 seconds in, 4 second hold, 4 seconds out, 4 second pause. And then you just repeat it until you calm down. And they do that in the military also. They, like if they're in the trenches or whatever, someone gets like that, they make them do that kind of breath as well. And there's a lot of different variations of it. There's one with coherence breathing where you do 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out, and you just keep doing that until you get that calm sense. Sometimes it might take a minute, sometimes it might take 10 minutes, but we all have different days and stuff. But all of those things are great. The important thing is the digital detox. Is put your phone away minimum 30 minutes to an hour before you go to bed. And also when you wake up in the morning, I would say, don't touch your phone for a minimum of 30 minutes to an hour. Both of them work, because then that'll get your body in a rhythm of not doing it. And what you'll find is that the time that you don't have your phone, nothing happens. Nothing changes. The world didn't end. You didn't have it, because it has proven that too much screen time can cause a lot of these social problems, sleep disorders, shortness of breath. It's very, very important.
Absolutely. I want to end with posturing, just like during this call, stretching my arms out and
Yeah, that's a great
just
one. I'll
making
do
my
that.
posture good. I've noticed tremendous changes in my physical posture by being aware of it. A lot of the times I've spent some time in front of a computer. So, holding my arms forward, to type on a laptop wasn't good. So I got an actual keyboard, Bluetooth keyboard, where my arms are wider. So my shoulders are back and I'm physically typing on the computer, getting up, moving around, changing my desk position to make my help
Mm-hmm.
my posture, and also just standing. If
Mm-hmm.
I'm just standing talking to someone, I've noticed that when I, kind of suck my gut in and stand up straighter, I feel better. And I do feel that that's a big thing that people should think about is your physical posture. And I would
Definitely.
also extend this to if you're in a conversation with somebody else, how are you receiving?
Yes.
Are you receiving like this? Or are you
Yeah.
just standing here going, I'm ready to
You
receive
like,
whatever you're going to tell me? Yeah. 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 Are you in a fight position? Are you nervous? Or are you just hands out? I'm ready to receive whatever you got to tell me.
yeah,
That makes a big difference.
fight or flight, and I would get back to, to piggyback onto what you said with your posture. And so, especially with the desk, I know what I have done, and it made a big difference with me, is I've made my desk a stand-up desk at my office at home. And and I got it on Amazon because my coach, Dr. Jamil, told me about it is a like a grounding pad. You plug it into the wall, and I stand barefooted on it while I'm at the desk, or when I'm sitting at the desk. I keep my feet on it, so it's kind of like you're outside because it grounds to the outside. It's pretty cheap, but I would recommend it for anyone, because I've also slept with it, leave my feet on it while I'm sleeping, and they have these grounding sheets and stuff. And I know a difference when I do that, because I'm more energized, and I'm standing up, so I'm more conscious of how much time I'm spending there. So then usually every 30, 45 minutes, I walk away and I go get some water or walk outside or something like that. And I would recommend checking out all of the health benefits of grounding and stuff. And I'm gonna take one of them with me on the boat with me, because I think it's important. I know that I started to have some back issues, and when I slept with it on after a while, they just kind of went away because it just helps complete that circuit. It really
Very
does.
cool. Very cool. Man, I love that. Well, this has been an amazing time spent, and I'm definitely going to go check out. You got to send me that link to that pad because I'm very interested in that
I
because
definitely will. I'll write
I
that
love
down.
that kind of stuff. Scott, this has been another great episode. We're here at episode number 20, and I got to tell you, man, kudos to you for encouraging me to do this at a conference. You know, it was just an idea. We
Yeah,
now
I
have
know.
got 20 episodes in the books. Like, this is so cool. And I've
Yeah,
even had people from the posts that came from this, from the short videos that came from this. I've seen tremendous movement of people reaching out to me and say, "Man, I love what you and Scott talk about." Like, that is so cool.
that makes it all. That makes it all worthwhile. And
Yes,
I,
sir.
it's just funny that I'm at a conference, and we're 20 episodes in, and we're at a conference, and that's where this came from. But I get a lot of energy from this. It makes me happy. Hopefully, it shines through and helps a lot of people. We reach a lot of people and just let them know that one, they're not alone. There's people here to help, and we're the two of us are glad to help, and just want everyone to be the best that they can possibly be, and at least work towards it. And there was something that I thought of that when I had dinner with my daughter yesterday. She works for Make a Wish Foundation, and I've been wanting to ask this question: like, if you were in that situation where you had to make a wish, what would be your wish? I'll tell you mine.
Oh,
It's a great question. Yeah, I
it
had
is.
to.
Let's hear it, man.
Mine was more of an experience to be able to light the Olympic torch.
Yeah, yeah. I like that. Probably kind of roots from where you come from as well.
Yeah,
Kind of helps solidify that. You know, I actually seen something the other day that I don't spend a tremendous amount of time out at night, but my wife and I was out coming home from dinner date, and we were standing there watching the stars, and she was looking at different star formations and stuff. And I seen a shooting star. And, you know, when you see a shooting star, you're supposed to make a wish. And so I had definitely, so if I, let me make sure I got this right. So if I was in a position where I needed to make a wish, what would it be?
what would be it's the Make a Wish Foundation is like it started out as terminally ill kids. Like if you were a terminally ill kid and you had one wish, like they make wishes come true. Like some of them have like thrown the pitch out of the World Series. I think one kid wanted to go jet skiing, so they got him a jet ski. These kids have a range from cancer to disability and stuff like that, and she's involved with helping make the wish come true, which I think is pretty awesome. But she asked me that, and it took me a minute because I'm about experiences. I'm not really about stuff. So that was one that came up for me.
Absolutely. In that position, if I had one wish to make, I would say that I would love to deliver my greatest life speech to a minimum of 15,000 people. That would be
Nice.
my wish. And here's the reason why. I believe, and I'm still striving to get on those stages to be able to make my speech without having to be in a position to make the wish. It's like my final wish. If I had one last thing I got to do, that's one thing I'd want to do. But here's the reason why is because if I delivered that speech as well as I believe that I can, and I changed a minimum of 10,000 lives there. Those 10,000 lives in their lifetime, they will at least meet 10 people that they could change a life to. And at that moment, we could change collectively. If 10,000 people heard my speech, 100,000 people's lives could change. If that 100,000 people's lives could change, that means 1 million people.
Yeah.
It could be infectious. So, me delivering one 45-minute speech that changed 10,000 people's lives could change another 100,000 to 1 million. And let's say 1 million could change 10 million.
Yeah.
Let's
It
be
goes on
honest,
exponential.
it's exponential. So, that would be my wish. My wish would be I want to speak and to give the opportunity to deliver one of the best motivational life speeches that the world has ever heard.
Nice.
That's my wish.
It's a tricky question, and it's an interesting question, because we're not in that position, but I, checked out the foundation there, and it's a great organization. If anybody's interested and they don't know who to give to or whatever, I mean, a lot of these kids, you should see them light up. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. I would definitely go donate to that. I know I donate the St. Jude's every month. I really appreciate, people like that have nonprofits that do amazing things in this world. And I do plan to add Make-A-Wish as well. So thanks for sharing that, Scott. Well, Scott, I think it's time for us to you get back to that conference and meet those amazing people that you need to meet.
Yeah. I'm going to meet some more people. Maybe start another podcast.
That's right. Absolutely. Well, look, we need some guests too. So we need some guests.
Yeah, we definitely do need more people to talk to, more people to reach. Yeah, we definitely do that.
Well, I know everybody can find me at EddieAustinBEX.com. You're welcome to go there, see the podcasts I've been on before. We will get all the episodes up for this as well, so you can see each and every one of them. And I want to say I thank you for listening to this and subscribing and smashing that like button, because it only helps us grow and reach more people, which that takes you guys. So I'm asking for the audience. We see the algorithm. We know that at least 70, 80% of you guys are not subscribed. We would ask you to subscribe and share it with other people if you can do that. Eddie Austin, I'm signing out. I'm going to leave it with my buddy Scott Kidd here to finish this out in his traditional fashion.
Yeah, and if you guys want to find me, investwithscottkidd.com. Find all these podcasts. Intercompass, Yacht Captain Investor Podcast. Look forward to hearing from you. And as always, I'm Scott Kidd, my friend Eddie Austin. Be clear, be grateful, and listen. Thanks, guys.
See you on the next episode.